He is an educator at Western Mindanao State University's College of Engineering, Computer Engineering Department, holds a bachelor's degree in computer engineering, certified as professional computer engineer given by the Computer Engineering Certification Board, Inc., and a licensed professional teacher. Furthermore, he is also a double master's degree holder in the fields of public administration, major in personal administration, and engineering education, major in ICT. He is a skilled individual who is proficient in many fields such as search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and digital marketing. He was also the marketing manager of the Smart Traffic SEO Inc., one of the top leading SEO company in UK. When it comes to work, he makes sure that the, he get the job done and puts all his creativity and technical expertise into play. Not much of talker, but definitely a doer. So help me welcome Mr. Gajil J. Santos. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So nahiya tuloy ako doon sa introduction ni ma'am. So before I'll start, I would like to introduce again my name. My name is Engineer Gajiel Santos, one of the faculty member of the Western Mindanao State University. So this morning, I will be sharing with you the emerging technologies, specifically on 3G technology. So at the end of this webinar, we will define what 5G technology is, discover the importance of 5G technology, discuss the importance of 5G for smart city and its impact, and of course, identify the differences between the previous generations of mobile networks and 5G as well. So I hope you already know this is a very informative webinar. So I hope you will enjoy it. So pati and also you will gain a lot of knowledge about 5G as well kasi this is also one of the trends din ngayon. So but first we will try to discuss what is 5G. So 5G is the fifth generation mobile network. It is a new global wireless standard after 1G. I don't know if naabutan nyo pa siya. So 2G, of course, sa time namin, naabutan na din namin yan siya. No, for some of you here, mga participants, probably, ano na siya, narinig nyo na yung 2G. So 3G, 4G, and of course, the 5G. So 5G enables a new kind of network that is designed to connect virtually everyone and everything together, including machines, objects, and devices. So fifth generation wireless or 5G is the latest iteration of cellular technology engineered to greatly increase the speed and responsiveness of wireless networks. So with 5G, data transmitted over wireless broadband connection can travel at multi-gigabit speed. So just imagine, no, yung speed na nagagawa ni 5G as to compare sa ibang generations. So with potential peak of speed as high as 20 gigabits per second. So yung 20 gigabits per second, it's just an estimate, pero sometimes naabot siya and more pa. So these speeds exceed wireline network speeds and offer latency of below 5 milliseconds or lower, which is useful for applications that require real-time feedback. So as we know, madami na kasi ngayong mga devices that really require real-time talaga. No? So 5G will enable a sharp increase in amount of data transmitted over wireless systems due to more available bandwidth and advanced antenna technology. So in 5G networks and services, we'll also deploy in stages over next several years to accommodate increasing reliance on mobile and internet-enabled devices. So as you can see, um, three of our major telecommunications company here in the Philippines are already um, going towards 5G na rin. So over our discussion, no, along with in our discussion, I will be also discussing you more of the 5G as well. So overall, 5G is expected to generate a variety of new applications, uses, and business cases as the technology is rolled out. So there are a lot of things that we really need to, expect from 5G. Some of the participants here, no, naabutan pa siguro nila yung 1G. 3G naman, technologies such as EVDO, HSPA, and UMTS brought speed from 200 kbps to a few megabits per second. So ito yung mga cellular phones natin back in 1980s to 2000. Oh, so 4G technologies, in the other hand, such as WiMAX and LTE, were next incompatible leap forward, and they are now scaling up to 100 of megabits and even gigabit level speed. So most of the cellular phone or mobile phones right now is naka 4G na siya. So 5G brings three new aspects to table, such as bigger channels, lower latency, as I discussed a while ago, and the ability to connect a lot more devices at once. So for sensor and smart devices ito. It isn't uh, a clean break with 4G, but 5G phones all need 4G network and coverage. So at first, all 5G networks use 4G. No, nung wala pa si 5G, si 4G yung nauna, 'di ba? So nung nagkaroon na si 5G sa mga telecommunications company, so ano lang siya sa 4G para makahatak siya ng signal. So let us discuss further with ano ba talaga yung differences ng 5G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. So during the first generation, noong 1980s, 1G is delivered as the analog voice, no? So it was developed in 1980s and completed in early 90s. It is also based on analog system, and yung speed niya is up to 2.4 kbps lang. So it also allows users to make voice calls in one country. So just imagine, no? Nung una, allowed lang siya to make voice calls sa isang country lang. So in the other hand, in second generation, early 90s, 2G was introduced digital voice. For example, the CDMA or the code division multiple access. So this is also based in digital system. So services such are digital voice and SMS with more clarity. So yung time na ito, 'di ba? If naalala ninyo, yung um yung SMS natin, medyo limited lang siya. If I'm not mistaken, nasa 30 characters lang ata. So this is also semi-global facility. So 2G are the handset we are using today, but this is also with 2.5 hertz having more capabilities. Pero most of the mobile phones ngayon is nasa 4G and 3G ano naman, 'di ba? Capable. So in third generation, this is early 2000. So 3G brought mobile data. So dito na yung pumasok yung nagkakaroon na tayo ng mobile data ng mobile data. So dati ang mahal-mahal pa talaga ng data, 'di ba? Hindi pa siya naka-unlimited. So transmission speed from 1 to 5 or 125 kbps to mbps. So superior voice quality. So good clarity in video conferences. So dito, we can already send email, PDA, information surfing, online shopping, and banking. And of course, capable na siya in global roaming. Moving forward, for fourth generation, this is like nasa 2010. So 4G LTE ushered in era of mobile broadband. So this is more on the faster and more reliable internet connection. So yung speed niya is up to 100 Mbps. So yung performance niya naman is masyadong high. So easy roaming and low cost when it comes to the mobile data, all broadband. So of course, yung main topic natin, which is the fifth generation. So next major phase of mobile and wireless system. So expected speed up to 1 Gbps and then more faster and reliable than 4G. And of course, much lower cost than the previous generation, which is the 4G. So 1G, as a summary, 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G all led to 5G, which is designed to provide more connectivity than was ever available before. So 5G daw is a unified, more capable interface, and it has been designed with an expected capacity to enable next generation user interfaces and of course empower new deployment models and deliver new services. So with high speed, superior and reliability, and um, low latency, 5G will expand the mobile ecosystem into a new set of connection. So 5G will impact every industry, making safer transportations, remote healthcare.
Is 5G. Fifth generation wireless, or 5G, is the latest iteration of cellular technology. 5G is up to 100 times faster than today's 4G networks, with a fraction of the latency. And because of more available bandwidth and advanced antenna technology, 5G will enable a sharp increase in the amount of data that can be transferred wirelessly. 5G NR, or New Radio, is the air interface developed for the 5G network, but 5G devices will also have 4G LTE capability. In addition to improvements in speed, capacity, and latency, 5G offers network management features like network slicing to support specific use cases or business cases. A self-driving car, for example, would require a network slice that offers extremely fast, low-latency connections to aid vehicle navigation in real time. A home appliance, however, could operate on a much slower connection because high performance is not crucial. 5G relies on the millimeter wave spectrum to deliver high speeds, which can only travel over short distances and is subject to interference from weather and physical obstacles. As a result, 5G signals are transmitted via small cell stations in places like light poles and building roofs, as opposed to the large, high-power cell towers that radiate signals over long distances. The first 5G implementations came in late 2018 and early 2019, but the technology is expected to reach mainstream adoption by 2022. Other than self-driving cars and super-fast phones, 5G deployments could open opportunities for things like augmented and virtual reality devices, smart city developments, and remote surgery.
So yun yung parang everything that we need to know about 5G. So as a summary, yun yung sinabi doon sa video, no? So let's move forward. So next is 5G versus 5GE versus 5G gigahertz, no? 5 gigahertz, sorry. So ang main question dito is your Wi-Fi 5G? So I know some of you here might confuse, no? Kaya most of my students, no, sa way back sa mga lessons namin. So there are a lot of students are really asking 5G ba daw yung meron tayong connection sa bahay, yung Wi-Fi. So let's try to answer that, no? And then we will try to differentiate kung ano yung 5G and 5 gigahertz na nakikita natin sa Wi-Fi natin sa bahay. So this is just making us confused, but most of the nagiging confusing siya because of the 5G, no? But along with our discussion, we will also be discussing this one. So, sa router ninyo, hindi siya yung tinatawag nating 5G cellular because it's a Wi-Fi, no? Sa 5GE naman, there are like in the Philippines, hindi na natin to siya na-encounter. But in other countries, meron talaga nakalagay sa mga mobile phone nila na 5GE, 'di ba? No, there are times din sa atin, sa cellphone natin dito, like I know some of you here in-open niyo yung data niyo. Kasi 'di ba, sometimes nakalagay naka-E lang siya but not 5GE. At sa ibang country may 5GE talaga. So which will appear in your 4G phone status bar. So hindi yan siya 5G. So 5G cellular will require new phones appearing in 2019 to 2020. Anong ibig sabihin nun? No? If you purchase cell phones na hindi siya 2019, hindi siya capable na magkakaroon ka ng 5G cellular internet or mobile connection. So going back, so it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a SIM card na 5G tapos yung phone mo is hindi siya capable na makasagap ng 5G, 5G ka na. Hindi siya ganoon. So dapat yung mobile phone mo or yung cellphone mo is capable siya na makakuha ng 5G connection sa telecommunication, kung anong telecommunication company you are with, no? Ganun siya. So, like for example, if I have iPhone 5C and then my SIM card is naka 5G, so hanggang 4G lang talaga siya. Hindi na siya pwedeng kumuha ng 5G kasi hindi kaya ng iPhone 5C yung 3G na SIM card internet connection ninyo. So how does 5G works? No? So wireless networks are composed of cell sites divided into sectors that second data through radio waves. So just like fourth generation 5G or long-term evolution or LTE, wireless technology provides the foundation for 5G unlike 4G, which requires large, high-power cellular towers to radiate signals over longer distances. So 5G wireless signals are transmitted through large number of small cell stations located in places like poles, building groups, or use of multiple small cells is necessary because millimeter wave spectrum between 30 and 300 gigahertz that 5G relies on generate high speed. So yung 5G can only travel over short distances and is subject to interference from weather and physical obstacles like building or trees. So dapat naka-clear yung, like for example, if naka 5G ka sa isang internet service provider, dapat wala siyang building na nakatama, wala siyang puno para hindi ma-interfere yung connection. So, kaya sometimes pag masama yung panahon, may mahina yung connection natin. Pero guys, no, if you're very particular with your internet connection, you can also try to observe. You can download actually yung speed test. You try to compare yung pag speed test mo siya if you're using 5G, and then you will also try to check your internet connection using your Wi-Fi. Sometimes mataas yung speed ng 5G compared doon sa Wi-Fi ninyo sa bahay. You try. So previous generation of wireless technology have used lower frequency bands of spectrum. So to offset the challenges relating distances and yung pag-interfere ng connection, the wireless industry also considering the use of lower frequency spectrum for 5G networks. So network operators can use spectrum they already own to build their own networks. 5G download speeds can currently reach upwards to 1,000 megabits per second. Yun ang sinabi ko kanina. If you try to compare, no, if you have time, i-try nyo lang i-compare yung speed ng 5G over doon sa speed ng Wi-Fi ninyo sa bahay. Most likely, pag okay yung weather, mas malakas siya. To visualize this, all user could start YouTube video in 1080 quality on 5G devices without buffering. So downloading app or an episode of Netflix show, okay siya, nakakaya niya, no? Which may currently take a few minutes and then hindi siya nagbabuffer. You try watching Netflix using your 5G, kaya niya actually. So wirelessly streaming video for 4K also becomes much more viable also. If you're using your if you have Netflix and then you are subscribed with ultra high definition na movie, and then if you also try to connect sa 5G, you can really experience the ultra high definition ng TV ninyo or ng smart TV ninyo, or you by just using the 5G connection. Ganon siya ka ganun siya kaganda. So even though the downside of 5G are clear when considering how easily the wavelength can be blocked or less clear considering radio frequency exposure limit, but 5G still has plenty of worth benefits such as use of higher which I mean sorry such as the use of higher frequencies, high bandwidth, enhanced mobile broadband, and of course, a lower latency of 5 ms and higher data rates, which will enable new network operations um, to engage into 5G networks. No? So yun. So higher data rates which enable new technology options over 5G networks such as 4K streaming or near real-time streaming of virtual reality or VR. So I think yung VR yung nilalagay ninyo sa mata ninyo. The potential to have a 5G mobile network made up to a low band, mid band of wave frequency or frequencies. So now, the ultimate ano niya, kalaban niya actually. Actually, hindi naman kalaban kasi magkasunod din naman sila. So 5G versus 4G, the key differences between the two, no? So each generation of cellular technology differs in its data transmission speed and encoding methods, which require end users to upgrade their hardware. So 4G can support up to 2 Gbps and is slowly continuing to improve in speed. So 4G featured speed up to 5 times faster than 3G. So 5G can be up to 100 times faster than 4G. No, just imagine 100 times faster. So malakas talaga siya. So one of the main differences between 4G and 5G is the level of latency, of which 5G will have much less. So 5G will use orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, similar to the 4G LTE, and 4G, however, will only use 200 megahertz channel bonded together at 160 megahertz. So 5G will be up between 100 to 800 channels, which requires larger blocks of airwaves as to compare to 4G. So again, no, 5G uses 5G use cases can range from business and enterprises or enterprise to use more casual consumer use. So for example, 5G can be used including, yun nga, na-mention ko kanina, streaming high quality video. So hindi na siya nagbabuffer, tuloy-tuloy na siya, especially sa YouTube, no? And other movie stream or video streaming. So communication among devices in an Internet of Things environment, and then more accurate location tracking, fixed wireless service, low latency communication, and of course, better ability for real-time analytics. So in addition to improvements of speed, capacity, and latency, 5G also offers network management features, among them network slicing, which just enables mobile operators to create multiple virtual networks with a single physical 5G networks. So this capability will enable wireless networks to support, no, um, to support specific uses or businesses cases, and could be sold on as a service basis. So ganun siya. So a self-driving car, for example, could require a network slice that offers extremely faster and with also a low latency connection. So vehicle could navigate in real time. So ang isang example is yung appliances natin sa bahay, no? So ganun siya ka-reliable ang 5G um, connection. So I have a video here prepared for you guys. So this is more of what are the benefits of 5G, and also the difference between 5G and also the 4G technology.
5G is poised to better serve businesses in the ever-expanding Internet of Things. But how exactly? Here are 5 reasons 5G will help businesses. Increased speed and bandwidth. 5G will bring speeds 10 to 100 times faster than 4G. Plus, more bandwidth for WAN connections means more potential for office automation and perhaps downward pressure for WAN connectivity prices. Low latency. 5G's low latency, as low as 1 millisecond, will give businesses flexibility to replace expensive MPLS infrastructure for line of business applications. Density of devices. 5G will enable up to 100 times more connected devices in one given area compared to 4G, which means a bigger potential mobile customer base. Reduced power consumption. 5G will have lower power overhead in design as well as consumption at the infrastructure level, which will stretch the life of remote IoT devices. Security. 5G will bring stronger security for designers, including hardware security modules, key management services, and others to ensure data sent over 5G networks is secure. 5G is expected to become mainstream over the course of the next 5 years, which is when these benefits will become apparent to businesses.
So yun yung benefits of 5G. So moving forward, so is 5G available now? So 5G has been deployed in 60 plus countries already and counting, no? So we are seeing much faster rollout and adoption compared with 4G. So bakit siguro, no? Bakit dumadami yung mga countries na nagpa 5G? Kasi more mobile phones are being invented right now na capable na siya with 5G. So yung mga benefits niya such as low latency, speed of connection, no? And also um, hindi siya masyadong kumakain ng uh, kino-consume yung battery life nyo ng mobile phone niyo or in even laptop. So yun. So we are so if you are to compare, masyadong mabilis siya. If you're to compare to 4G, masyadong mabilis yung rollout niya. No, so consumers are very excited about the high speeds and low latencies, but 5G goes beyond these benefits by also providing the capability for mission critical services, enhanced mobile broadband, and massive IoT. While it is very hard to predict when everyone will have access to 5G. Diba? Kasi marami pa rin tayong mga mobile phone na hindi kaya na magkaroon ng 5G connection. So like here in the Philippines, so marami pang kasi usually the 5G mobile phones medyo pricey siya, no? Pero there are some naman ngayon na available sa market na kaya naman ng mga consumers. Pero nung una, most of the mobile phones na capable with the 5G connection are very expensive. So since nakikita nila, kaya mabilis din yung rollout ng 5G, and people are very excited with the connection and feedback. Kaya most of the mobile phone companies are creating or designing mobile phones na kaya na ng 5G. So we are also seeing great momentum of 5G launches in its first year na ni-roll out ito. And we are expecting more countries to launch their 5G networks in 2022 and beyond. So we are still expecting more countries to really avail or make the 5G available in their countries. But here in the Philippines, I think you already aware, no, na meron na tayong 5G rin. So there's a set of specs that define 5G. So the industry has settled on the 5G NR or the new radio as standard technology to fulfill those specs. So 5G NR or new radio is a way of encoding data through the air which is more efficient than previous generations. It can use wider channels, communicate more responsively with remote servers, and pack more data into one radio cycle. So if you try to notice, yung 5G connection natin is nagiging less expensive siya as to compare dung a few years back. Wala tayo, like for example, in 1 week meron kang 1 gig na internet connection or mobile connection, pero ang bilis-bilis na. So it's more cheaper if you're to compare before, no? So in 2009, when the 3G standard was set, you will almost certainly need a new phone to be able to access the 5G even on existing radio bands, no? But ibig sabihin nun, yun na yung sabi ko kanina, if you want to really utilize the 5G connection, dapat yung phone ninyo is capable siya na makasagap ng 5G para makuha mo talaga yung connection niya. In some areas here in our city, like kasi I'm staying sa San Roque, no? Doon medyo mahina pa. Pero when I go outside sa highway, sometimes yung sa mobile phone natin, bigla na lang siya nagpa 5G, So usually ang feeling ko ang saya-saya ko kasi ang connection ko naka 5G. So ang ginagawa ko, nag-YouTube na yan ako. I usually download apps. Kasi just imagine, if I download app, ang bilis niya talaga. If I also download music, ang bilis niya din mag-download ng music. So, alam mo yung parang you are paying for a connection na dapat lang talaga na para sa'yo. So, yun. So, nakakagaan din ng feeling. Masaya din yung feeling na gano'n, na parang ito yung gusto ko connection. 'Di ba? Yun naman talaga yung sometimes issue natin. Ang hina ng connection. Ang hina ng connection na binibigay nito ng ganyang network. But at the end of the day, if you check your phone na naka 5G, pero yun nandun yung excitement mo. Na parang gusto mo na agad maglaro ng Mobile Legend or manood ng movie. So yun, just a summary, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi again is not 5G cellular. So if you notice, um, sa yung Wi-Fi connection natin sa bahay, di ba dalawa yung connection, yung 5 gigahertz na Wi-Fi and also yung 2.4 gigahertz. So usually, ang kinukuha natin yun nasa 5G kasi syempre malakas, naka 5G yun eh. 'Di ba? But definitely, ang 5 gigahertz is not a 5G cellular. Iba siya. So 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is a short-range home networking system that operates in a 5 gigahertz radio band. So it's been around since 1999. So if may connection kayo noong 1999 na naka-Wi-Fi na kayo and naka-fiber, so most certainly na-experience nyo na ito. But it became more powerful when 802.11n home routers were released in 2019. So most Wi-Fi devices supported it right now. That's why if you try to notice, yung internet service provider na meron tayo sa bahay, ina-upgrade nila yung device. Usually, kinukuha nila and then they are replacing it with a new one. So, and then, shock na lang tayo yung bagong Wi-Fi natin is nagkakaroon siya ng 5 gigahertz na connection. So, Wi-Fi primarily uses two frequency bands, so which is the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. So, yan yung parang choices natin. So, usually, ang ginagawa ko sa bahay, ako lang yung naka 5G, pero yung iba naka 2.4 lang, para ko yung malakas yung connection. Yung ginagawa ko, but I don't know with some of you here, no? Sa mga participants. So parang, wala lang, ano lang. Pero, may ano siya, may differences din naman talaga when it comes to connection sa dalawa. So because the 2.4 gigahertz band is default for most devices, only has 3 available clear channels. So if you try also, nanonotice nyo rin yan, like if you are using mga like desktop na Wi-Fi, capable siya na mag-Wi-Fi connection, di ba? And also yung mga laptops natin or computer, nakadepende din siya. Sometimes hindi niya, hindi niya nakikita yung 5G 5 gigahertz na connection, yung nakikita niya lang is 2.4. So meaning yung device mo, hindi siya capable na gumamit ng 5 gigahertz ng Wi-Fi connection mo. Nandun lang talaga siya sa 2.4. Oo. Kasi I have also desktop sa bahay na hindi niya talaga kaya, hindi niya nade-detect yung 5 gigahertz. Ang nade-detect niya lang is yung 2.4 lang talaga. So ngayon, the G generation. So I also prepared a video here para let us try to really understand kung ano yung the G generation, ika nga, no? From 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and of course, yung 5G. So parang ayaw niya so let's just move forward na lang. So Philippines 5G download speed nearly 10 times faster than 4G. So always natin to siyang dinidiscuss, no? talagang malakas talaga yung 5G as you compare to 4G. So in the Philippines also rank among the world's top 15 for 5G reach. So which measures the extent of the mobile experience to all in all locations that matter most everyday users. So the Philippines rank 15 with a score of 3.5, and then Hong Kong topped the list with a score of 6.5, followed by South Korea with 6.4. So furthermore, the Philippines has the greatest uplift in video speeds with average 5G download speed 9.8 times faster than the 4G. So ngayon there are some questions no siguro na pumapasok um, sa mind ninyo. Oo, since I already mentioned this a while ago, so the big question here, do I need a new phone if I want 5G? So I think you already know the answer. The answer is yes. You need to get a new smartphones that supports 5G if you want to be able to use the network. So an example for that is the smartphones powered by Snapdragon 5G mobile platforms are 5G compatible. Oo, so kailangan nyo talaga ng phone na that supports 5G. So there are several new phones available that are designed to support 5G, and multiple carriers across the world and also here in the Philippines support 5G wireless connection na rin naman. So as the 5G rollout timeline progresses, more smartphones and carrier subscriptions will become more available as 5G technology and 5G compatible devices becoming more mainstream. So siguro in the future, there are cheaper phone na rin na capable to support the 5G connection. So now let's discuss 5G and smart city. So siguro some of you here may idea na rin no kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng smart city. But for those participants na hindi pa masyadong ano sa kung ano yung smart city, I also have prepared here a video that will discuss what is smart city.
Just how smart is your city? Chances are it's getting smarter by the year. Many governments around the globe are racing to infuse technology into just about every aspect of its city's operations. And I mean every part, including public transportation, IT connectivity, water and power supply, sanitation and solid waste management, efficient urban mobility, e-governance, and citizen participation. And it does this using every buzzword imaginable, from big data to the Internet of Things. So how does a smart city work? Let's look at 3 examples. Here in Singapore, the city-state might be the gold standard of the most extensive effort to collect data on daily living. The government is now deploying systems that can tell when people are smoking in prohibited zones or littering from high-rise housing. Singapore launched its own Smart Nation program in 2014 and will add more cameras like these so the government can effectively monitor crowd density, cleanliness of public spaces, and even the exact movement of every locally registered vehicle. Much of the data it's collecting will be fed into an online platform called Virtual Singapore that gives the government access to how the city is functioning in real time. It could help the government predict how crowds might react to an explosion in a shopping mall, or how infectious disease might spread. Over in Dubai, more than 50 smart services from 22 government entities have been rolled out as part of the government's Smart Dubai initiative. Using the government-provided app Dubai Now, you can do things like pay a speeding ticket, which likely captured you on a public camera and then emailed you the ticket directly. You can also use the same app to pay your electric bill, call a taxi, track a package you sent to your friend, find the nearest ATM, renew your vehicle registration, track the visa status of a relative, and report a violation to the Dubai police. Now head over to Barcelona, where one research firm estimates the city will save billions of dollars a year in energy costs just by installing smart systems like these. Number one, smart streetlights. Public lighting that adapts and dims when there's no activity but brightens up when sensors detect motion. The second, parking sensors. Instead of driving in circles looking for a spot to park, drivers can get real-time information on an app which locates free parking spots. Sensors on the street curb use lighting and metal detectors to know if a parking spot or loading area is occupied. And finally, garbage sensors, which are actually compact drop-off containers which have a vacuum network through pipes which sucks up trash below ground. The automated waste collection not only lowers noise pollution from garbage trucks, but also lowers costs and keeps bad odor away. Juniper Research estimates that by 2021, cities will save nearly $19 billion by making their cities smart.
But of course, to save money, sometimes you have to spend it first. The global smart city market is estimated to attract $15 billion by 2021, and that's just for software. So now companies from Microsoft to Cisco are aiming for a piece of it. In Singapore, Upton Saidi, CNBC.
So,
Still watching?
so according to Upton Saidi of CNBC, yung kinonsider niyang city is yung tatlong city, no? If you try to go back doon sa video, minention niya yung Singapore, Dubai, and Barcelona. So, ito yung parang example of smart city na uh, na city na parang considered as smart city. So, paano ba ma-consider ang city na smart city? So, if you go back doon sa video, so ito yung parang main um ano main factor, no, to be a smart city. So dapat yung IT connectivity nyo, yung water, power supply. So you try to although lahat naman, no, pwedeng maging smart city, but then you try to check ba, like how is the IT connectivity, kumusta ang water supply, the power supply, sanitation, solid waste management, urban mobility, e-governance, citizen participation, and of course, public transportation. So you try to check, no, or assess, is your city capable na maging smart city? So, ang ginawa ni Upton Saidi of CNBC, ang ginawa niyang example is yung Singapore, Dubai, and Barcelona. So, balik tayo doon sa Singapore kasi siya yung malapit sa atin. So, yun, pwede niya nang i-check kung sino yung, kasi bawal kasi doon mag-smoke. So, nade-detect niya na kung sino yung naninigarilyo. So, yung waste management din ng Barcelona, diba? So maganda actually ang smart city. But here in the Philippines, kaya din naman natin yun, no? As long as meron talagang etong sila. So smart city involve many connected sensors and devices generating large data quantities. So when managed well, this data flow can improve transparency and efficiency within the city infrastructure. So in practice, the smart city utilizes many connected devices including traffic cameras, parking garage, kasi yung mga parking garage nila may sensors na yan. So utility meters, public transportations or public transportation vehicles, and of course yung street lights and buildings. So 5G broadband and beyond, 5G provides broadband capabilities that extend LTE's value. Although this function is advantageous for some smart city applications such as video cameras capturing real-time traffic, other smart city use cases don't require higher bandwidth. So sensor monitoring urban area pollution might send small data packets to cloud-based platform once or twice a day. So in such a case, there's no need of constant broadband communication or connection. So it could have the negative effect of depleting the sensor's battery. But of course, ang role ng 5G dito is mahalaga because of the uh, yun nga yung uh, reliable connection, malakas yung connection, and yung low latency as well. So smart utilities and metering, 5G will have a massive impact on utilities, including infrastructure challenges. So today's smart meters tend to be a low-powered device with minimal throughput or throughout needs, and smart utilities power generation and grids will recap immediate 5G benefits. And the utility company needs to synchronize power sources for wind farms to keep the um, ultimate current generated in phase. No? So what is a smart metering? Yun yung tanong, ano ba mas smart metering? No? The smart metering is one of the key steps to developing city-wide smart grid system. So this smart metering system addresses utility consumption tracking and forecasting challenges for electricity, gas, and water. So it is also by smart metering provide real-time usage data, and smart meters allow utility providers to optimize distribution and empower consumers to make smarter usage decision. So public illumination, public illumination smart light is another use case that will function well with low power wide area network technology. So dito natin na makikita na we can really save energy, no, in the future. So this application doesn't have an immediate need to switch to 5G. However, as 5G infrastructure rolls out, some cities may consider dual usage of smart street lights to provide light um, and the 5G coverage. So we will likely see many dual use of applications such as lights sa street lights or yung lights natin or yung mga light natin sa bahay. So cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is a legitimate concern for connected smart city devices. Yan yung parang nakikitaan nila ng problema. However, since yan yung parang main ano talaga ng 5G, uh, you really have to, some of the companies are hiring yung well-skilled um, cybersecurity experts to really check on security when it comes to their services na binibigay nila. So city traffic and parking management with IoT. This is also to reduce traffic congestion, no? So most of the city ngayon or cities ngayon, ayan yung parang problema talaga, traffic. So as city population and cars on the road increase, road and parking lot congestion grow. So ibig sabihin, the more cars na meron, the more populated ang isang city, the more cars na meron. So ang problema natin ngayon is the parking lot, no? So this overcrowding increases traffic accident risk and pollution, which undermines environmental sustainability. So IoT enables smart urban mobility solutions transform how drivers and riders get from A to B. So this transformation requires manageable IoT connected devices network, which is sometimes uh, nade-detect na kung full na yung park, so you don't have to hindi mo na kailangan pumila kasi nade-detect nila kung full na yung parking. Unlike in some cities pa rin meron tayo dito, ang ginagawa nila yung manual lang, like may karatula lang na full na yung parking. But in some cities or countries, nade-detect niya na. I also read sa isang article, I think sa Denmark ata yun, meron silang, they created this app na parang siya yung nag-identify pag, like for example, malapit ka na sa isang venue. So sinasabi niya na sa iyo na pwede kang mag-park doon, free yung parking doon, no? Sa area na yun, or pwede ka pang mag-park or full na siya. So you don't have to waste your time looking for a parking lot. So meron silang ganong mga app doon. So sana dito din sa atin, meron din tayong ganun, no? Kasi grabe ang traffic ngayon. So yun. So before I will end my discussion, I have one last video here. The 5G impact on smart cities. Parang ayaw niya rin ata mag-play. But yung impact ng smart city, ng 5G, ang impact ng 5G sa smart city is really important because, again, the speed of the connection, the low latency. That's why importante talaga siya. Oo. Kasi hindi mo ma-fully utilize or hindi mo ma-enjoy, no? Kasi nga yung 5G is low bandwidth lang din siya. Kaya mas okay siya compared to 4G. So I hope na for a limited time may na-learn kayo about 5G and the smart city, no? As well. So before I will end, I have quote here that says, you have to be on the lookout of what is new because just when you thought technology is at its peak, there is more to come. So kung akala natin, yun na yung peak ng technology, hindi natin alam, meron pa at meron pang darating na bago. This is by Nina Richie Alagao. So thank you.